I know it was up on our Instagram, guys. Thank you, Joe, sir, for the great job with the graphics there. It's 7:41. Mayor Jesse Alig for our Monday check-in here for the Mayor's Council of Guam. Good morning, Mayor.
Good morning.
Let's just start there with the Programa Salapi. Do you guys have the applications yet at the mayor's offices?
The applications will be available at the mayor's offices, but they're not yet available. They should be delivered today. So yeah, all the offices we should have them by today.
Right. What kind of response are you anticipating, Mayor? Are people already calling, asking about this?
No, well, in PD we haven't had any phone calls, but there's a lot of people that listen to this show because after our talk last week, I got a lot of calls about something I thought I wouldn't get calls for. Thanks to you, Chris Barnett.
Well, I think it's because they came out with the whole big so they originally announced this on the day that the Camacho Ada team they had their press conference, right? And then so there was that. They kind of dropped that, and then they had that press conference last week. And I think that maybe confused some people because they thought, oh, if they're having a press conference, it must be good to go. But the press conference was just to tell you about the opening of the program, which is happening tomorrow. So I think maybe it wasn't all me, Mayor. It was the wasn't all me. I mean,
well, no, they'll be available today. I would probably call the office before you go to the office if you're driving sa Tibarok to Gasolina, right? And then to that point, perhaps if they have a computer, they should check it out online, right?
Yeah.
That's always the best way. Now, like you mentioned earlier, the hard part is making sure that you're like Cabalist, right? All your documents are submitted, and you don't submit an incomplete application so that you get your 300 bucks.
Mayor, I know that you're sorry. I know you're familiar with like the types of documents it takes to fill out, all these different applications for assistance. But as far as that goes, are these like the same type of documents you would need to say apply for food stamp or to apply for like All Rise or whatever?
That's correct. That's correct. And you do not need a mayor's verification.
All right. That's one thing you don't need, guys, is you don't need a mayor's verification.
Yeah. That was actually, okay, so I take that back. We did get questions about that last week. And so it is confirmed that you do not need a mayor's verification for a program in Select.
So how are you guys preparing, Mayor? Because the applications are going to be available at your offices, right? But it's not like people can drop them off there?
Yeah, no, you can't drop them off at the mayor's offices, and it's just like all the other applications. We didn't really run into big problems in the past, so hopefully it runs as smooth as in the past, and they pick it up, complete it, and drop it off at the. So yeah, but we're not accepting the completed applications.
What are you hearing from your residents about this one-time assistance of $300?
Well, everyone has their own thoughts about it, but $300 is more than what some people actually have now, right? So there's an opportunity to be grateful, and then there's an opportunity to critique that and to feel that you can talk about other options or a better solution for families. But I haven't heard anything bad. I haven't heard anything bad. Not this far.
Mayor, do you anticipate that there may be some other type of assistance that's offered, like a wide-reaching assistance, let's say, before August? Or you think this is the last one?
Well, just the season. Just the season to be merry.
Just the season. Just the season to be merry and make everyone's pocketbook carry.
Come on, Chris, you know the song.
I know that one, Mayor. I know that. I mean, I heard of Christmas in July, but Christmas in March, it's a little bit early.
No, it's Christmas.
Yeah, I get it. It's Christmas, all year.
Yeah, all year. Hey, but so the one thing that I haven't heard a lot about, and I know, we're hosting in PD, but the next 3 meetings are going to be in Asan Miina, PT, and Dedido. So Guam Okudu Power, they did post it in the news, in the papers, but they're having these village meetings in the villages from PD to Dededo, and they started out in Agana Heights. And so what it is they're talking about their construction plans and the operation of the new power plant. And in Asan Maina, it's this Wednesday at 6 o'clock. In PT, it's this Thursday at 6 o'clock, and then next week in Dededo. And that's I know they put it in the printed news. I don't know if they've sent it out to you guys, but it's important because I forgot what bill numbers they were in the past. I mean, they were not controversial. Well, I guess you could say controversial, but there were a lot of concerns about it. And so this is really the time for people to come out and listen to what Guam Okuda has to say and ask their questions at this time. So it's not a GPA. It's not a GPA meeting. It's the vendor meeting, and I'm grateful that they've reached out to us, to the mayors, that on the pipeline to talk about.
I'm sorry, Mayor. Mayor, I missed what you said at the beginning. Can you just go back a little bit? So they're having public meetings is this relative to the power plant they're trying to construct there in the PD or something else?
That's correct.
Okay.
No, it's the power plant in Dededo at Okudu. So it's the power, Guam Okudu Power. And so it is the pipeline from PD to Dededo.
Okay.
So all the villages that are along that pipeline, they're having public meetings at. And so the last three are going to be Asamina, PT, and Dededo. And I just think this is a great time and the opportunity for residents to come and listen. I can send you the flyer if you don't have it already, but I think it's important because when we had the meeting at least at our MPC level, there's certainly people interested in hearing more about their plans. And there are people out there concerned about the environment and how they're going to operate. And this is the time. And and I'm glad they're having it. In the different areas because gas isn't cheap. I mean, that's just the conversation we have all the time.
Right.
But the other thing that's happening for the mayors, for all the mayors, is the G3 Conservation Corps. Their new cohort is starting a new round of village cleanups, and so the past several months, I've had volunteers or just residents come to me and say, "Hey, we want to do village cleanups. We want to help out the villages. How do we get to a certain village, or how do all the villages come together to help each other?" And I hate reinventing the wheel, and it's just because there's so many options out there and there's so many opportunities for people to help. So this G3 Conservative Corps, our Conservation Corps is perfect because they already have specific dates in each village and volunteers are welcome. And you just need to contact your mayor's office to see when they're coming out to clean the village. And it's starting next week, I believe, in Jigo. And the larger villages get a double cleanup day. So wow. That's good. And it lasts, maybe in 6 months. The first 6 months ended, I believe, in December of last year. And so now we're starting a new cohort. So that's positive news because you see these people in green reflective clothing along the roadways in the different parts of the villages. And that's what this is, the Conservation Corps.
Right.
And, so the mayors enlist volunteers from the village, typically, not just their staff, but other, the military always comes out to help us clean up. But there's so many other people out there wanting to help. So this is their chance to contact the mayor's office and see what we can do to help out with the cleanup.
Right, guys. So just as a heads up, there's going to be that going on up in Jigo, and then also remember we had Margarita Gay at Public Health. They're going to be doing their survey outreach for the maternal child health program up in Jigo. I want to say starting today too. So I know there's a lot of crime going on, and everyone's kind of on edge. Looking around your area, just making sure everything's the way it's supposed to be. So there will be people that you might not be familiar with in your area for the next couple of days if you're up in Jigo. So just a heads up.
Yeah, speaking about that, I mean, I don't want to talk too much about it because we're not there yet in PD at least, but the other villages I know they've had their neighborhood watch program meetings. I know GPD is, standing that up more. or at least paying more attention to it. Not that they haven't. Um, Sergeant Paul Tapau is a good advocate for Neighborhood Watch, and I think where he's reaching out to everyone again to see what else we can do as a community to prevent crime. Everyone has an idea as to what's best for their village, so I think the Neighborhood Watch it's a good start. It probably is not going to solve all our problems, but it's certainly a good start. A lot of times, I think we have to take Neighborhood Watch and we have to remind them what it's for, and not it's not a good morning, Merry Christmas,
It's
Happy
not a
Thanksgiving.
It's not a Guam grabs chat.
Yeah, you said it.
Right.
But yeah,
Mayor, what
so
do you think about this? So there's something out of Adelup. I think it started with like a WhatsApp message where it's going around that they're looking at this program where they hire back retired Guam Police Department officers to kind of augment the force. And then I think what I had seen was that these retirees would kind of do like the paperwork or the admin stuff, and then that would free up the young bucks to go out here and patrol the street. And then there was something I saw about a $10,000 signing bonus, which was crazy to me because I think that these retirees, especially when you talk to these retired cops, like, bro, they are so malago. They're so itchy to get back in the uniform, in the badge. I'm pretty sure they would pay $10,000 to just for the ability to come back to the police department. But what did you kind of think of this idea? Because the governor and her communications team, they're floating this as like a stopgap measure to kind of put in place while we wait for the new recruits to graduate from the cycle and all that.
I think it's a great idea. It's a great idea because of their experience. They know the demographics. They know what's going on in the villages. I think they know. I mean, if it's administrative, they know what we're talking about on the other side on the other, on the phone when we're calling. They're not thinking we're crazy, or they're not. It's difficult sometimes with people that are a little greener, right? But no, I agree. Using the retired cops, I think if they're willing to come back and they're willing to give a little more extra time, let's take it. So that'll definitely help with the patrol within the villages, and I think one of the things is seeing more cops in the villages might help out. I do know, like I mentioned the last time, that we have to help with Port Authority, the Port Police, and those of us villages that are connected through the port. We're very fortunate, but there's certainly the other villages that are going to be left out.
Yeah, I heard they're using the
other thing
ARP. Hey, Mayor, though, what do you think about 10 grand bonus though?
Well, no, I mean it's cheaper than waiting and losing a life.
Right.
It really is. And sometimes money isn't the entire deal, right? I mean, sometimes really it's $10,000. Can you really? I don't know. I think it's fine. If retirees are going to come back and give their all, they're probably worth more than that.
Right. Yeah, I think it's interesting too because the argument has always been that we don't have the money, and I think we're living in a situation right now where we can't really say that anymore. Mayor, so Liberation, I know you had something you're about to talk about, but I wanted to ask about Liberation. I heard there's an update to the Liberation.
No update. There's no update. Everyone wants to tell me there's an update.
That didn't work. That's an old media trick. Yeah. Hey, tell me about that update for Liberation. So when's the parade? Go on.
No, I think like I mentioned to others, is hey, there's the green light to think about it and to propose it and to offer options. So hey, I'm all for it. I think it is time for us to celebrate. It is time for us to get together safely, and we can do it. The current lifted restrictions allow us to, so I don't see why we can't. I should have more updates later this week. When you talk about the council as a whole, I don't think everyone wants to jump in and say, let's do it. But, it costs a lot of money. There's time. But, man, there's more than one way. there's definitely ways to do it, and we don't always have to do it the way we did it in the past. There could be a different way to do it, and there could even be a better way to do
Yeah, I feel
it.
like
And we talked about the part, but
we're at this point, Mayor, where this liberation celebration could have so many meanings, right? Because if things keep on the way we're
yeah,
keeping on, I mean, knocking on wood, we could be liberated from this oppressive pandemic, and at the same
for sure.
time, pay tribute to the traditional liberation that we always celebrate. So you said the mayors and the council, you don't know if as a whole they're saying, yeah, let's go, gun it, let's do it. Why?
I've had it on our agenda since January, and every time I bring it up, it's like dead silence. You can check out the files.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to say anything. It's just like crazy Jesse Alig wants to talk about liberation.
Crazy
And,
Jesse.
so no, I think if we have a good enough, a solid plan to present to the mayors to endorse, I'm sure that everyone will be on board, and we'll do it safely, and we'll have a great celebration. And I think it is about time we will work toward it. Now, it
Yeah.
might be different. It might not be the same. It might not be what everyone is used to. But again, going back to the carnival, in previous years, we've talked about how successful or how unsuccessful the carnival was, and so let's revisit that. If you've been to the food trucks out in town, I
Yeah.
mean, shoot, they've had to redo it for whatever reason because of the crowd or because of the trash. So there's a good problem there. And how do we take that good problem and make it better? And how can we use it towards celebrating liberation? One of the options or one of the ideas is to bring it to the villages, right? Just similar to what we did with the Christmas Belen.
Right.
So, that's certainly an option. I think now, right, sa Tiborocto Gasolina,
Hmm.
you better have it in PT so the people stay in PT, and
Yeah.
have something in Dedido so the people stay in Dedido, right?
I mean,
And all
Mayor,
of you in California,
for liberation,
right?
because we've been in the parade a lot of times. I mean,
Yeah.
because the floats, you have to line up. You know how it goes. You have to line up. I mean, 4 or
Sempre
5.
Taniki Parade.
Yeah, I mean, you line up 4 or 5 hours before the parade actually starts, and you're sitting there. I mean, idling and moving up of the gas cost alone. I mean, that's got to be. I mean, we're looking at $1 billion parade just on gas. So no update, Mayor. But you're not hearing anything.
Well, we're gonna plan something. The onus is on the mayor's council because that's the law. So we'll work on something, and we'll work with the administration to make sure it happens. I tell you, it's Christmas in 22.
That's it. Yeah, that sounds like a slogan right there. Thank you, Mayor. Anything in closing before we let you go?
Uh, no. Oh no, I do want to talk about real quick. The other thing that I wanted to mention was Joseph Augustine wrote a letter to the governor last week about the village safety officers.
Yeah.
So
Yes. Thank you.
yeah, I think that that's a great idea. We've been talking about it, expanding the visitor safety officers at GVB so they can come out to the parks in the villages. And it's just a great time to talk about it. And I'm glad that he wrote the letter to the governor. Let's see how that happens. I think the pressure should be on the senator to continue to push for that policy or that particular initiative because it's Christmas.
And Senator Joseph Augustine is one of those senators. Whenever he asks the Adelube, they say yes. So I hope it happens for you, Mayor.
And he loves KOAM.
He sure does. We're his favorite. Good morning, Senator. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, have a good week.
Yeah, Martina Cruz comments in here. We are in the gasoline pandemic. We sure are. We sure are in the gasoline pandemic. She also comments, nice to hear laughter. Yeah, it is, right? It's always good to get Mayor Jesse Alig in here. Rosemary LaGuatnia. And, we talked about the mayor, and we asked the mayor, what are people saying about this, one-time cash assistance program? Rosemary has a comment, I think, that sums up what, a lot of people are saying.